I never thought the sea would become a metaphor for my life. Growing up in Bantayan, a speck of an island in the Philippines with fewer than 80,000 people, I used to watch the fishing boats come and go. My father was a fisherman who'd return with his small catch, barely enough to feed our family of 5. My mother stitched clothes for neighbors, earning about 300 pesos $5 on a good day. "Isabella, your head is always in the clouds," my grandmother would say when she caught me staring at the horizon instead of helping with chores. She wasn't wrong. At night, I'd sneak to our tin roof with my tattered science book, using the moonlight to read about computers and technology, worlds that existed only in my imagination. That was 20 years ago. Today, I'm sitting in my Singapore office, leading a team of 12 developers creating educational technology for children who, like me, were born with dreams bigger than their circumstances. The journey between these two realities wasn't straight or simple. My high school had one computer for 300 students. We took turns, 15 minutes each, once a week. I'd practice typing with my eyes closed during dinner, fingers tapping imaginary keys on our wooden table. My siblings laughed, but I was preparing. For what exactly, I didn't know yet. When I ranked first in our province's academic test, a teacher pulled me aside. "There's a scholarship at Singapore National University for ASEAN students," she said. "You need to apply." The application required an essay, recommendations, and an online submission, which meant paying for internet access at the town's only cafe. 20 pesos per hour is too much, my father said, counting the day's earnings, barely 200 pesos $3.50. "We need rice, not internet." That night, I sold my only valuable possession, a gold necklace my godmother had given me for my quinceañera. It bought me 10 hours of internet time, spread over 2 weeks. I submitted my application on the final day before the deadline, with 8 minutes of internet time left. The cafe owner unplugged my computer at exactly 60 minutes, mid-sentence of my parting email. I walked home convinced I'd wasted my necklace. 3 months later, a letter arrived. The scholarship committee wanted an interview, in Manila, 791 kilometers and a ferry ride away. "Go," my mother said, pressing 1,000 pesos into my palm. "This is from all of us." I later learned she'd pawned her wedding ring. Singapore hit me like a typhoon. The buildings reached impossibly high. The trains arrived exactly on time. People walked with purpose, eyes on phones that cost more than what my father earned in a year. My dormitory roommate, a girl from Hong Kong, asked where I bought my clothes. When I said my mother made them, she didn't speak to me for days. Classes were in English, my third language after Cebuano and Tagalog. Professors spoke rapidly, using technical terms I frantically looked up at night. In my computer science classes, other students completed assignments in hours that took me days. "I don't belong here," I told the Filipino custodian who cleaned our building. He was the only person I could speak to freely. "Neither do I," he laughed, "but we're here anyway." I failed 2 exams my first semester. My scholarship required a B average. The night I got my grades, I packed my suitcase, ready to return to Bantayan. Then an email arrived from my sister, "Dad's boat damaged in storm. Can you send money for repairs?" I couldn't go home a failure. Not when they'd sacrificed everything. So I stayed. I asked questions after class. I joined study groups. I worked in the university cafeteria to earn extra money to send home and to buy a used laptop. I slept 4 hours a night for 2 years. The turning point came during my 3rd year when Professor Lee assigned an open project, create an application that solves a real problem. While classmates designed games or finance apps, I thought of my cousins back home who shared tattered textbooks. I created a simple application that converted text-heavy lessons into interactive modules that worked without continuous internet. This could help millions of children, Professor Lee said during my presentation. Why stop at a class project? I graduated with honors and received a job offer from a multinational tech company. The starting salary was $75,000, more money than my entire village would see in years. 2 weeks before starting, I called my mother. "I'm not taking the job," I said. Silence on the line. "I want to develop my education app. Make it work for remote villages. Like ours." More silence. "Then, will it feed you?" "Not at first. But it might feed many children's minds later." She sighed. "Your father says you should take the safe path." "And what do you say, Mama?" I say, "You never played safe, even as a child. Why start now?" The first year of my startup was brutal. I lived in a tiny apartment with 3 other women. I ate 1 meal a day. I coded until my vision blurred. I applied for innovation grants, pitched to indifferent investors, and was told repeatedly that educational technology for poor rural areas isn't scalable. One investor actually said, "Poor kids don't have devices. Your market doesn't exist." I almost gave up. Then my former professor connected me with a Singaporean angel investor who'd grown up in Malaysia's countryside. He gave me $50,000 seed funding, enough for 6 months of development. We created LearnLoop, an app that downloads content when internet is available, then works offline. It compresses textbooks into tiny file sizes, converts videos into interactive slideshows that use minimal data, and uses simple language with visual learning techniques. Our first pilot was in my home province. We distributed 30 refurbished tablets across 5 schools. The results shocked even me. Test scores improved 32% in just 1 semester. A video of children using LearnLoop went viral in Singapore's tech community. More funding followed. Microsoft included us in their Educational Partners program, providing cloud services and technical support worth $150,000. 5 years later, LearnLoop operates in 127 districts across the Philippines, Indonesia, and rural Vietnam. We've reached over 200,000 students. We employ 36 people, including 3 from my home island. Last month, I returned to Bantayan for the first time in 3 years. My parents' house now has concrete walls instead of bamboo. My father no longer goes fishing. He distributes LearnLoop tablets to schools across the region. I visited my old high school, now with a computer lab we helped build. The principal invited me to speak to the students. Standing before 60 teenagers with curious eyes, I froze. What could I tell them that would matter? Then I saw a girl in the back row, secretly reading a physics book hidden in her lap while the principal introduced me. She reminded me of myself. I was sitting right there. I pointed to a desk by the window. 15 years ago, I had no idea what was possible. I just knew there had to be more than what I could see from our island. The girl with the hidden book looked up. "The world will tell you what you can't do. People will list all the reasons your dreams are impractical. They'll use fancy words and complicated explanations. Don't listen." After the talk, she approached me. "I want to build AI systems that predict fishing patterns," she said. "Everyone says I'm crazy." I gave her my card. "Call me when you're ready for an internship." My journey taught me this: distance isn't just measured in kilometers. It's measured in courage. The space between Bantayan and Singapore was vast, but the distance between who I was and who I needed to become was greater. Technology can connect us, educate us, and lift us. But first, someone has to believe the connection is worth making. That's what I tell my team each morning: we're not just writing code. We're building bridges between islands of potential. If you're starting over somewhere new, if you're facing that terrifying gap between what you know and what you need to learn, take the leap. The world needs your unique perspective, especially when it comes from someplace others might overlook. The view from an island may be limited, but the dreams born there can reach across oceans.